Sup YouTube, Malkel here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Shaman Mastery Tree. I'll be going over both the Oracle and Fateweaver trees in pretty decent detail. There may be some that I don't go over because they're just not implemented right, but we'll have a little discussion about each node, and you can give your opinions on what you think of them down in the comments. Let's jump in the game and have a look. Okay, so here we are in game, and we're going to go ahead and open up our mastery tree. On the left side for Shaman, we have the Oracle. On the right side, we have the Fateweaver. The Oracle tree is about healing, and the Fateweaver tree is about support. We'll start with the Oracle tree and just go node by node, and I'll give you my thoughts on each. So this node here is going to improve your rushing waters, as the name suggests. It will reduce the threat generation. This is a never take for me because I don't really like rushing waters, number one, and threat isn't really an issue if you have a decent tank in most cases. So this is a never take for me. Improved Bane of Venom is going to reduce the mana cost of Bane of Venom and increases damage. Not the worst thing that you could take, but I'm not really going to be focused on doing damage as a healer. If I can get it in, great, and if not, you know, it doesn't matter too much. Next we've got Empowering Spring. This one's not working, but it's also for rushing waters. If you like rushing waters, may not be a bad pickup, but I definitely wouldn't pick it up until level 10. Mortared Layers 1 is going to increase the amount of damage absorbed by the interlocking stones by 10%. This would be good once you're level 30, but otherwise I wouldn't pick it up early because you do not get the spell that this is enhancing until level 30. Same thing with Steady Foundation. It's also going to increase the duration by 2 seconds of the interlocking stones. Wouldn't take till 30. Subtle Restoration 1 is reducing threat. I wouldn't recommend it unless you're really struggling with threat. Measured Phasing is going to reduce the health sacrifice of Chronoburn by 2%. We do not get Chronoburn until level 10. I wouldn't recommend it early. And in general, I wouldn't recommend it at all. Improved Replenish, in my opinion, is a must-take. By the time that you get Mastery at level 5, you'll already have him Replenish, so making it cost 10% less mana sounds great. Let's go ahead and put a point there. These next nodes are all for Echo of the Rainlands, which you do not unlock until level 12. All of these are decent, but I wouldn't start speccing into them until you're level 12. Improved Echo of the Rainlands 1 reduces the mana cost of Echo of the Rainlands by 10% and increases the range by 5 meters. Very good once you have Echo. Echo of the Rainland ticks heal allies affected by your Mantle of Mist for an additional 10%. This one seems very good in high intensity. I could definitely see speccing into this late game when you are actually having the mana power to throw Mantle onto multiple targets after getting Rain up. This could be a huge throughput bonus, but generally speaking, I wouldn't recommend it at low level unless you truly feel like you're in a situation where you're just having to deal with needing a lot more AoE healing prowess. Rainfall Potency 1 increases the chance Echo of the Rainlands healing ticks will critically heal by 2.5%. This could give you more healing as a chance, but generally speaking, I don't like crit heals that much because they're typically unreliable and often just lead to overhealing. But, you know, this is just my opinion, so play it as you will. Oracle's Resilience 1 will give you pushback resistance. This is actually pretty decent for a shaman if you're ending up getting aggro or getting hit by AoEs often. When we get hit by any type of damage, our replenish will lose ticks, which really kind of sucks. Unless you have the ability to get like a bonus from the final tick, which I'll show you that node later, then this actually is a downgrade to our heals in some ways if we're getting hit, because the final tick of replenish, thanks to another node we can get later, will do more healing than the other ticks. Mantle Potency 1 is, you know, in that same situation that I mentioned before. I don't really like the increased crit for healing. It's great for damage dealers, but it's pretty mid for healers. Obviously, it does help in a lot of situations, but mastery points could be better spent elsewhere. However, this tree in the start of the Oracle is kind of lackluster in things we can get prior to level 10. So I go ahead and pick it up. Improved Mantle of Mist 1, in my opinion, is a must-take. It's going to reduce the mana cost of Mantle. You're constantly casting Mantle. It also makes it apply much faster. Increasing the duration of Mantles is always very welcome. This is a must-take, in my opinion. So that kind of leaves us in the situation that I mentioned for sub 5 points in Oracle. At this point, it's really your choice. If you want to take the spell pushback, that's an option. If you want to get a little bit of mana reduction on your dots and also increase its damage, that is definitely an option as well. If you just want a little threat reduction, it's not the worst thing. You could also just go ahead and take any of these points for things you will unlock in the future. This is kind of like one of the very first decisions for an Oracle Shaman at level 5 when you get your first 5 points. And it's kind of up in the air what's best to take. Personally, I'm probably going to go with either the pushback resistance for those times that I am getting hit during replenish, but I do kind of like the idea of improved Bane of Venom early on as well. Mantle Potency 2 is kind of in the same situation I mentioned before. I know I keep beating it like a dead horse. If you like crit heals, definitely go for this. It's going to increase your throughput. Improved Mantle of Mist 2, in my opinion, is a must-take. Lingering Mist 2, in my opinion, is also a must-take. Improved Replenish 2 is also a must-take. At that point, we do have access to a bunch of nodes that are new. Critical Mending is currently not functioning. However, it falls into the crit problem. These two nodes here will be useful once you hit level 10 if you like the playstyle of Rushing Waters. If Mantle of Mist is consumed by Rushing Waters when it has less than 5 seconds remaining, your next Mantle of Mist will cost 25% mana. This, in my opinion, is a must-take if you like Rushing Waters. Deep Currents. When Replenish channels its full duration, the final healing tick will be increased by 150%. This is something that I would take only if you do not take this. I would never take Oracle's Resilience alongside with Deep Currents. However, Deep Currents is currently not functioning. If you do end up taking Deep Currents, definitely, instead of pointing a point into Oracle's Resilience, instead, go ahead and point a point into Improved Bane of Venom. This would be my selection at level 9 if Deep Currents was working. At level 10, you would get access to Rushing Waters, as I mentioned, but I'm not a huge fan of it, so I would instead go for the Mantle of Mist, Gentle Return, if it was working. When Mantle of Mist expires naturally, it finds its final tick heals for 20% more. That leaves you with 1 point available to also get Deep Currents if it was working. This would be my recommended setup at level 10, unless you like Rushing Waters. For Rushing Waters, I would then take that and probably come out of a few of the mantles or replenish nodes and pick up probably Restorative Timing 1. Something like this would be my setup for Rushing Waters. Okay, let's move over to the Fateweaver tree. Now, the Fateweaver tree is more about buffing and debuffing. You can still do your heals, but you won't be amplifying them, so you will be notably weaker. The Fateweaver tree also does quite a bit of damage as well, as it does get a lot of mastery for helping you do more damage. Improved Omen of Fangs will reduce the cast time of Omen of Fangs and reduce its cooldown. I'm not a huge fan of any of the nukes on the Shaman because I feel that they're too mana expensive and too little damage. Weighted Air will increase the accuracy reduction of Headwinds, which you do not get until level 8, so I would not put points into that. In general, it seems like Headwinds just isn't worth speccing into, but I haven't done enough testing on it to know for sure. The early points of Fateweaver are all about unlocks, so most of these points that we're going over just do not have any value at all until later levels. Improved Vein of Fire, which is an unlock here in the Fateweaver tree, is just a dot that will do damage. You can amplify it to do additional things as well. So this one is going to increase its reduce its mana cost and lower the target's elemental resistances. Note that based on the testing that I've done, elemental resistances do not include any nature, poison, shock, or curse. It would only be the elemental damage, such as ice and fire. Lightened Footfalls is going to enhance your level 10 buff, Windstrider, to reduce its endurance drain while sprinting by 10%. I would not take this prior to level 10, and in general, I would not take it at all, because it's just not strong enough. Ashen Haze 1 will increase the fire damage ticks against targets affected by Scorched Fog. You do not get Scorched Fog unless you unlock it at level 10 in the Fateweaver tree, so I would not take this prior to level 10, and I would typically not take it at all. Ashmancer 1 will increase the slow power of Scorched Fog. This is a very good ability once you reach level 10. Reducing the cast time, or the mana cost and cast time of Scorched Fog is very nice once you hit level 10. Flame Shroud 1 is going to give you all elemental resistances. It's currently not working on the PTR due to a bug. I wouldn't recommend it right now, but in general, I would recommend it once you have the ability to cast this buff, which I believe is at level 8, if memory serves correctly. Splintered 1 is very nice. This is a must-take if you're playing Fateweaver. This would honestly be one of the very first things I would grab. Fault Line is decent, but there are better things. But if you want to also increase the amount of damage your melee are doing by giving them a better chance to hit when attacking from the front, they shouldn't be attacking from the front. But, you know, if you want to help your tank out, you can do it. Not typically what I would recommend, though. Prevailing Currents will reduce the cost, or the cast time of Headwinds, and increase the duration by 10 seconds. Typically, we are going to be applying Headwinds, even though you may not see a big bonus to it. It's something that we do cast. This wouldn't be too bad to cast, or to grab once you have the spare points. But typically speaking, I wouldn't take it. Stone Rot 1 is always going to be the very first point that I put into the Fateweaver tree. This will give every target affected by Grip of Stone the chance to apply pressure, which will increase the physical damage that the target takes by 2%, and then later 3% with Stone Rot 2. This particular node is crazy good. Just crazy good. The value is amazing. Always pick this up. Pyramid 1 will give a little bit of HP and also reduce the mana cost. This makes rebuffing really nice. I do like this. Pyramid 2 just increases that bonus even more. I would grab this as soon as possible as well. Barbed Bane increases the damage of Omen of Fangs, deals against targets affected by Bane of Venom. This is just more damage. If you want to lean damage and you do like omens, go for it. But generally speaking, I do not like nukes on the Shaman. Heavy Venom 1. This one is actually pretty good. Bane of Venom has a 15% chance to apply 1 stack of Venom Burden to the target. Each stack of Venom Burden reduces the target's outgoing physical damage by 2%. This is just straight up a 2% damage reduction per stack. So 6% less damage that your tank is taking every time that this procs. Not bad. Reduce the mana cost of Bane of Venom by 15% and lowers the target's noxious resistances by 3 while the Bane is active. Faint Fury 1 increases the target's outgoing poison and nature damage by 5% while Reptilian Veil is active. What are we picking up at level 5? I've kind of already slotted in 4 options that I think would be decent to start with, but we still need 1 more. That kind of leaves us in a predicament to where there's not really anything good. So typically I'm going to go ahead and grab Fault Line 1 just to go ahead and unlock that. That gives us a lot more options to play with. I'm definitely immediately picking up Splintered 2, which is going to increase the critical strike chance of all your allies against targets affected by Weathering. It's very good. As mentioned before, Stone Rot 2 is amazing. It's an immediate pickup from me. Pyramid 2 is pretty good also. The other nodes that have unlocked now at this point are Heavy Venom 2, the Curse Creeps, which is for something that we don't have unlocked yet, so this is a never take from me. Bane of Fire. Bane of Fire, as mentioned before, is just a dot. It just does damage. If you want to do more damage, this is something you could pick up. We'll go ahead and show picking it up for a moment here, just so we can talk about some of the other nodes and what they might do to help you out. Improved Bane of Fire 1, as mentioned, is something that you could start taking once you have this, if you have a lot of Wizard DPS, for example. You do not have Scorched Fog still, so I would never take this. Petrified Change increases the duration of Chains of Bedrock, which is not something you get until the mid-teens. So I would never take this at this point. So let's undo that. So this leaves us with 2 points remaining, and we know that we could get Scorched Fog, which is a slow. So you may consider going ahead and improving that slow with 1 point before you get this, or you could just go for this and get this. Not my recommended pick, but if you didn't have the ability to respec, this would be something that I might consider. But because we can simply refund all of our points prior, my choices would be to go ahead and grab these, and this, and this, and probably, there it was. I was like, I knew I missed one. Something like this, but you have to give away one thing. So I'm either going to give away the reduced cost and cast time, or 1 rank of this to get a Scorched Fog. And this is something that I would use at level 10 on a Fateweaver. This is basically just a look at what we have available at roughly level 10. There are obviously far more that go up all the way to level 30, but we'll look at those in the future. Thanks for watching my video. If this was helpful for you, consider giving me a like, comment, or subscribe, or catch me live on Twitch at twitch.tv/Malkel. See you later.